Alright, so what is Lightroom? Why do you need it? And why does it exist alongside Photoshop and CameraRaw? That's essentially what this video is going to be about. If you've ever seen Lightroom, you may have opened it because you can get a free trial if you want. Or maybe you just bought the photography package from Adobe and you open Lightroom and you're like, what the hell am I looking at? Because that's kind of what happened to me. I wanted Photoshop. I didn't necessarily know what Lightroom was, and I opened it, and it's confusing as hell, to be honest, when you first open it. But what it is, essentially, is a way to not only edit, but to organize your photos. And if you go out and take, say, 1 or 2 really good photos, it's not that big a deal to just put your SD card in your computer and just find whatever good picture you want. Let me just use find one. Let me just use this one as an example. Okay, this is a decent photo. So this is how you'd edit it in Photoshop. You would open it in Photoshop, and that would then open Photoshop CameraRaw, which is the raw processing tool that comes with Photoshop. And it's good. It's really good. For one picture, at least. So basically what would happen is, let me do that. You would edit it however you want. Alright, I'm just going to go through this really quickly. Apply some general editing. And if you don't know what I'm doing, that's fine. You don't have to. There's a learning process here. And Lightroom can do everything that this can, except it can do it a little bit better. Okay, so that's essentially quickly edited to look a bit better. And then if you wanted to edit it in Photoshop, you would say open. If you just want to save it, you can save it as a whatever file type you want. So that's one image. Great. But what if you have like 30? What if you took like 10 images and you want to stitch them together to make either a panorama or a really wide shot or something? Then things get to be not as pretty. Also, maybe you want to archive your photos and organize them like by date or something. See this? Lightroom automatically organizes all of your stuff by either date, or you can add tags to pictures. You can organize it in all sorts of ways. I just use the date. I don't put tags and everything. Also, if you geotag your photos, like GPS, there's a map feature. You can just look at it by where you took them. I don't do it, so there's nothing here. But say you went to Colorado, you went to this place. Well, then there would be like little tags where you took the pictures, and then you could find stuff easily. And that's nice. It's very nice. So, when you first open Lightroom, just to get pictures into Lightroom, you would of course have your SD card, and then you would click import over here. You have to be, hold on, one quick thing, you have to be in the library view for this. So go to library, then you would click import, and this brings up of course the import dialog. And I have my source over here, which is my SD card. I think I have that set to default, so you may have to click on this and find your SD card. Not sure, I don't remember, but this is all the crap that's on my SD card. And you'll notice there's all photos, new photos. The new photos, these are the photos that are not in my library. If I click all photos, it shows a lot more stuff. But a lot of it I've already imported, so just going to click new photos. You have options up here. There's copy as DNG, which is the standard RAW file. Yet don't do that. There's no reason to do it. And you'll lose a bit of information in the process. Not actual photo information, but like you'll lose data maybe from the type of lens you were using or something manufacturer specific. There's no reason to copy it as a DNG. So just copy, or you can move or add. I just copy. So do what you want. This will automatically select every new photo that isn't in your library. I don't usually do that because I take a lot of pictures that I end up not wanting. So I just uncheck that, and then I would go and pick the pictures that I want. Now you can sort them by capture time or whatever. So say I wanted this picture, that picture, and that picture. And I just control selected those. You just do that and then click import. I'm not going to do that because I don't have any new pictures that I want to import right now, but that's how you import them and get them into your library. So I'm just going to click cancel. You would click import. So say I just imported all this stuff. I did last night because I went and took some pictures last night. But this is what you would get if you imported all your stuff. So let me go here, and you'll notice there's not really anything you can edit right now. You can go here. There's some crap, but just don't worry with this. If you want to edit things in Lightroom, you go to develop, and this is where most of the stuff takes place. And now you have a full view of the picture. Let me just do something real quick. Alright, this is the picture, no editing applied. Looks pretty shit, to be honest. And that's why you process raw files, because, you know, people that say you need to get it right in the camera, yeah, you do need to get it right in the camera, but even in the film days, you had to process the picture correctly if you wanted it to look good. Some people don't seem to understand that, but yeah. So as far as things you can do, these little arrows here, you need to click that so that you can see these settings. So do that, and I always start at the bottom here with camera calibration. Go to profile, and you know, in the camera where you can like adjust the color profiles and stuff, this just kind of emulates those. I always select neutral because it seems to give more dynamic range and it just looks more natural to me. You can use whatever you want. I use neutral. Adobe standard does not look good in my opinion, but that is all personal preference. Going up, I usually go to lens correction. Profile corrections here, that is like distortion correction. You see what it's doing? It corrects for the fisheye effect that a lens will give. It also corrects like vignetting caused by the lens. So I usually enable that. There are certain times when you need that distortion for like an artistic effect, but usually you need it disabled. Chromatic aberration, always check that. If you don't know what that is, that's basically the color fringing like at the edge of something sharp. It's usually purple. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just Google chromatic aberration, and it's just, there's no reason not to check it. Now, what else? There's also this transform. It's like perspective correction. You can see what it does. There are different options you can use. I usually use either off or level. Level usually gives a good output. I'm gonna use level for this one. Looks pretty decent. And of course you have like sharpening and stuff. I'm gonna do a little bit sharpening. That's actually a lot, but yeah, whatever. And for this one, I'm just gonna put it in black and white because I think it fits the mood better. I'm gonna edit another photo in a minute and just show you some more things, but generally you would just keep editing until you got to this. That's what I did before. Another great thing about Lightroom is the fact that it non-destructively edits your raw files. Now what does that mean? Essentially, you see I have two versions of the same picture here. There's only one raw file on the disk. It's just saving what settings I have here, and it's just applying it to that one raw file. So you can make as many copies as you want and apply as many different edits as you want. You're only going to have one raw file, and it's going to remain untouched. So it saves disk space, it's a lot simpler, and it's just a lot better system than actually editing the file itself. It's just, trust me, it's great. Really great. And then, you know when you take like a panorama and stitch them together, you'd have to open Adobe Bridge and then select all of those and then like photo merge in Photoshop, or photo merge in CameraRaw, I think. Yeah, you don't have to do that here. So say, let me see here. Here, I believe, was the start of a panorama. I believe that was the end. You can just select all of those, photo merge, and either HDR or panorama. Of course it would be panorama, so just click that and it'll build a preview. I'll probably fast forward through this real quick. Alright, and now it's made the preview. It took about 40-50 seconds maybe on my laptop. It's not too slow. So you see this is my fault. I didn't take the pictures correctly, but you get the point that you can do this and you can have different projections. And there you go with the cylindrical projection. But I'm going to cancel that because I already made that before. So once you do that, you just have one big ass raw file. Like it is an actual raw file. You have all the benefits of a single raw file. You have all the dynamic range, all the data, everything's there, and it's amazing. It's great. So now you'll see if I click somewhere, it zooms into 100%, and you have all this detail. All this detail. Also, I forgot to mention, when you click somewhere, by default it will zoom you into 100%. You can change that. You can either make it 300%, 100%. I have the zoom out to like fit the whole image in the screen. You can make it like fill, but I think default is the best setting. So like fit to 100%. That's something that CameraRaw doesn't do that well. This is just really good for checking detail, sharpness, noise reduction, all that. It's just click, click. Very, very good system. And if you want to drag, you can just drag the mouse around. Whoops. But anyways, let's go on to another example or two. Let me get a few days ago, some pictures I took. Alright, so this was a photo merge of I don't remember how many, but a lot of pictures. And it's just, again, one big ass raw file. You can read this sign here. You can edit everything you want. Also, press J. If you press J, it'll bring up the clipping indicators for white and black clipping. That means, see this? That means there's no data here. Like if I turn it off, that's completely white. No data at all. And you don't want that. I mean, a little bit's fine, but you don't want to overdo it because it's not going to look good because there's no data there. That's just blowing out the colors, and it'll do it for black as well if I show you. Now all that blue there's no data there because it's all black. It doesn't look good. So another great tool that you have, CameraRaw does that as well, of course, but it's just a better system here, and it's just so much better to work in this workflow. It's just easier to manipulate everything. And I mean, I can't teach you how to use all this. It's simple stuff, but like, just play with everything, you know? So let me do a few things here. Shadows, clarity. Look at the sky. Look at this. You can adjust saturation and stuff like per color and all that. So that's something that took me a while to figure out. Lens correction isn't gonna work correctly here because it's a bunch of stitched pictures already, so wouldn't try doing that. It'll still do it because it knows what lens you took it with, but it's gonna be incorrect. But chromatic aberrations still do that. It's always good. Perspective correction, you can still do that. Dehaze, it's always fun to play with. For like, especially for HDR stuff. Neutral. Neutral always looks better, I swear. But yeah, that's enough of that. You can crop and rotate with this. So like, if you wanted to do that, you could do that. I'm not going to. But just a general crop. Be like roughly there. Let me see, saturation, no. I can't really think of anything else. Oh, to export, like to turn this into a JPEG or something, you would go here, and then you have all of these options. You can export to these types of files. You can limit the size, you can have the quality, color space, and all this stuff. All this. You can add presets as well. So that's, again, always nice. You can make your own. Export to those. Cancel. When I got this, I thought like I would use all of these because, you know, in Windows programs, all the important stuff's always up here because that's just how it works. But to be honest, I never use any of this stuff, like ever. All of the options and stuff is right here in Develop and Library. I never use any of these other things. But yeah, that's pretty much the basics of Lightroom, and hopefully that helps like the very beginner get started in teaching yourself Lightroom, because that's how I was. It took me like a while to learn just what the hell it was, and once you get started, you can teach yourself pretty much everything you need to know. So if you work with RAW files, this is just an amazing tool. It's also worth noting you can still edit like JPEGs and stuff. I just wouldn't recommend it because why shoot with JPEGs, you know? As long as you have the hard drive and SD card space, just shoot RAW. You can import videos as well, like for archive purposes, but I don't think you can really do anything to them. But yeah, that's there's also presets and stuff. History, you got all your stuff, the edits that you've done. Yeah, you just play with it, pretty much. You have the basics, and hopefully it helped. So I'll see you guys in the next one, and thank you for watching.